Well, let's put the spotlight today on India's largest tech-first fresh animal protein brand, that's Licious. That's announced a $150 million fundraise. This is a Series F2 led by Amansa Capital, Kotak PE, and Axis Growth Avenues AIF. We've joined now by Vivek Gupta. He's the co-founder of the company. Thanks so much for taking time out and joining in. So I understand that in this round, the existing investors have also participated, and this is a fundraise of about $150 million. In this kind of an environment, was it challenging to raise these funds?
Actually, thank you, Avan. This fundraise got signed a couple of months back, and it took us some time to close the documentation. And this fundraise was not even planned by the company. This was mostly incoming round, and these investors we were engaging for quite some time since our last fundraise got concluded. So I agree with you that environment is changing, but I think this, sensible companies who are building here for long run, I think environments should never dry.
You're the first unicorn in this space and the 30th unicorn in 2021, the first D2C startup to enter the club. But just walk us through what this fresh fundraise means in terms of taking your overall valuations. What does that look like now for Licious?
Yeah, actually, this round has been at a substantial premium than our last unicorn round valuation. But this money, if you ask me, is not that we really wanted this year. As I said, it was more incoming. But during this environment, I think more money gives you more comes in the coming years. So, that it's a good thing and good, comfortable situation.
You've spoken in the past about how the focus is going to be very technology driven for supply chain excellence in particular, and, a lot of product innovation, which is fairly crucial in a category such as yours, because, FMCG has not traditionally been considered fairly attractive within this space. So walk us through what exactly the funds will be utilized towards, how much focus you're going to give when it comes to your overall tech and supply chain.
Yeah, so tech is, I think, the center of our business. Our business is actually a very, very complicated business. It's a fresh inventory which has 2 days of shelf life within our system, 300 plus SKUs distributed over hundreds of delivery centers across 20 cities. So it makes the problem very, very complicated. And that is why we have, I think, on the hindsight, we are building us very complex inventory algorithm models, which makes all these products available to consumers on a 60-minute delivery promise. So continuous investment on tech is important. Second thing, what we believe is, we have elevated the meat consumption, into a ready to cook and ready to eat categories. And last 2 years, that business has been scaling very, very well for us. Today, close to 20% of our revenue comes from some of these categories. So we will continue to innovate and launch newer categories, and that is a large team within Licious. So that is another investment focus we'll have. The third one is, if any inorganic opportunities will be there, which are, strategically aligned to company's growth plan, because we believe there'll be some consolidation in this market. So that is a third one for us. The last one is expanding a lot more into tier 2 cities. In last 6 months, we have actually opened 10 tier 2 cities like, Coimbatore, Vijayawada, Vizag, Nagpur. We are launching Ahmedabad, Agra, Jaipur. So all those cities. So there are plans to go up to at least 50 cities in next 12 months. So these are the top 3-4 things we want to do with the money we have.
Okay. Let's talk about the performance metrics as well for the company, because, in terms of the numbers that you've disclosed, you're not fairly forefront with disclosing a lot of numbers in terms of sales and margin numbers. But I understand that in the last 1 year, there's been a 500% growth, and there's close to 2 million customers on the platform. Walk us through, what has really driven this growth, and if you would be willing to share any more numbers in terms of revenues, in terms of margins that the company has managed to clock in.
Sure. So some numbers which I can share and are handy with me. We have close to, I think, 2.5 million consumers right now with us. We are clocking a revenue run rate of annual revenue run rate of 1,000 crores. We have more than doubled in last 12 months, but over last 24 months we have grown close to 5-6x. We will continue to at least double our revenues, going forward for next 2 years. We think opportunity is very, very large. In terms of profitability, the company has achieved operational profitability last year. Okay, we still continue to spend money on building this brand, and expand more into newer markets. But we think that in the coming financial year, we should become a EBITDA profitable company. So that is one of the single largest chase the company is on, and I think we should be able to achieve that. So this is what I can share with you as of now.
And with the kind of valuations that you're talking about, I know you have very ambitious growth targets. You're very confident about achieving them. But Nitin Kamath was actually quoted saying that the valuations don't look too justifiable at the current levels. And he's also of the view that the valuations are very high in this space. What would be your response to that?
I think, Nitin is right. And he has also invested, Nikhil and Nitin both have invested in this round, a small check, they are friends. My view is, if you just look at the valuation on current numbers, etc., it may, you may find it high, that is true. But if you put a business for a slightly longer term scale, and we being the leader in this industry, we being building the brand the way Licious exists in the market, and the size of the market which we are chasing, our growth rates. So some of those future plans are also generally baked in your current valuation. So for as on basis, as on today date, you may find it expensive. But if you see, over long term, if company continues to grow with the run rate we are growing, I think all these numbers are reasonably justified.
Okay, and in the space that you operate, the direct-to-consumer connect, of course, that helps the company to identify a lot of gaps in the market, position your products accordingly. But then there is that extra effort that needs to be put into building a very robust infrastructure that can help you sustain growth and help the company scale up, which requires that, steady discipline from day one. So how has the company managed to achieve that, grow in the D2C space, and what are some of the key metrics that you will continue to keep in mind as you grow further?
Meat is a very, very complex business. It has inventory has a very short-term shelf life. People consume, prefer to consume fresh meat. India has never adopted frozen meat, unlike Western part of our world. So a specific infrastructure and a supply chain was needed to build this business, and that's why we believe that meat has never scaled in a general trade or a modern trade format. Consumer experience keeps getting broken. So at Licious, we have built this supply chain from farm till our processing center and finally to consumer doorstep. And this supply chain, moves like a military discipline, within a 0 to 4 degrees environment. We take care of high quality standards, food safety standards, etc. And the consumer gets a phenomenal experience, both on the variety of the catalog and the quality of the product. So I think this is the only way meat can scale in India. And as you know, the market is close to 3 lakh crores of consumption in a year. So for such a massive market and consumer involvement in this category, consumers get, very excited when they hear about their meat experiences, etc. So with keeping that in mind, I think this is the only way this industry can be scaled. And Licious has built a very high quality infrastructure and supply chain across 20 cities now, and that is why we chose to add cities one by one and not go to 100 of cities at one shot, because experience was truly important to us. Now jumping to the metric, which if you ask me is very close to us and which drives our thinking, our business, is number of customers who come back and shop with you time and again and again and again. So the repeat metric is the very crucial one. Our roughly 85% or 90% of our monthly transactions come from repeat customers, and that keeps our confidence very high. So if you ask me, this is the only metric which get discussed in the company and always talk about. This metrics take care of all kind of revenue performance, customer experience performances, etc. But if repeat is good, I think the shape of business is good.
And, there were ambitious plans as well regarding the IPO. I believe that's over the next 2 years that's been lined up. Any more details on that front?
I think 2 years, Aman, will be too early to look at. But surely, at some stage, IPO is on the cards. We have also added, some kind of investors who will look for IPO in the near term. But to us, that near term looks to me more like 3 years, and we have obviously started focusing on some of those things. But as a company, we believe, we don't want to do anything in hurry. If we take this company to public, we will like to be much more sustainable and a long-term view of, before we take this company out to public.
There are also other players in the market. There's Fresh to Home, Captain Fresh as well. So how are you looking at the overall competitive landscape, and anything in particular that makes Licious stand out?
Yeah, I think the industry is very large, Avan. So it is important that multiple players come in this industry and, start organizing this industry faster. I generally believe winners come in competition. Now, Captain Fresh is more solved for a B2B problem in this sector. Fresh to Home is positioned very differently as Licious, and as Licious is very focused on quality and customer experience, and that's how we have imagined this market. But I think a lot more players are needed in the long run to change the face of this industry.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you, Vivek. Thanks so much for taking time out and joining in, and congratulations on the fundraise.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much.